Welcome, everybody. Wow. It's nice to see you all jumping on this morning. I am super excited for today. We've got a live healing session that we're going to experience. You'll be able to witness it. I'm sure you'll all benefit from it in many ways. And so let me introduce our topic for today is we're going to do a live healing session with my good friend, Tara Chang. She works with the essences of plants and crystals and stones and nature, pretty much anything in nature, anything that the world has provided for us to use to help elevate our energetic and spiritual frequency. And as many of you know, this is kind of a key piece for expanding our consciousness, healing our physical bodies, helping us to manifest the things that we desire to create in the world, and living the best lives that we possibly can. One of the things that holds us back from that is this dualistic programming that we get in the systems of this world, and those who control those systems through fear and guilt and shame and programming, they don't want you to expand your consciousness. They don't want you stepping into higher levels of frequency because then they can't control you. And mostly how we are manipulated and controlled on this planet is through fear, through the lower energies of fear from trauma and drama and guilt and shame and the programs that run through us. And so we can choose to do our inner work. We can go within, we can tap into our intuition. We can learn to wake up that way and step out of this unconscious slumber. Or we can also use things. There are tools and medicines and things that Mother Earth has given up freely for the benefit of mankind, and to help us and assist us on this journey as we strive to step into higher levels of higher frequencies for healing. So one of the things that I love about my dear friend Tara, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last several months, and I've had an opportunity to have her work with my energies, and I really, really want to share her with you, with all of you, and to have you get a taste for what is available to us, provided to us by Mother Earth in the form of healing frequencies and tools and resources that can really help you overcome the shadow self, step into higher vibrational frequencies for healing, for transformation, for conscious spiritual awakening, for all of the things that we're all looking for. And so I'm going to turn the time over to her in just a minute. What we're going to do today is a live healing session. We have a volunteer, Mike from Idaho, has volunteered to be the lucky participant. And so we're going to work through him. You'll be able to witness and observe how Tara uses her modality of using plant essences and the essences of nature to help heal through frequency. So this is episode 33 of our sovereignty series on spiritual sovereignty for this year. If you are new to these classes and you want to know more about spiritual sovereignty, please go to my YouTube channel, Greater Life, Greater Impact. That's where we put all the replays to these classes, and scroll through and see which ones resonate and harmonize the most with where you're at on your journey in spiritual sovereignty. So with that introduction, I'm going to turn the time over to Tara. She'll probably do a little bit more of an introduction into how this works and what it is. And I will also put the links so that you can contact her and reach out to her down in the description of the video when it posts onto YouTube. So with that, take it away, Tara. I'm going to pin you and unpin me. Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'm seeing it correctly. I still have you pinned, by the way, just FYI. Thank you, Janet. I am super happy to be doing this and sharing this today. I am passionate. If anybody has seen any of my social media posts, perchance, if you know me from outside of this, I am passionate about plants and nature. And I love that this particular way of working with them kind of takes it up to the next level. And as Janet mentioned, this is flower and vibrational remedies, essences, and it's a way to work with nature in a whole new higher frequency way. Janet and I had a conversation on here a few weeks ago all about how important frequency is in our experience and in our process of healing and moving higher in our ascension. So today I just wanted to give just a teeny bit of an overview of what flower and vibrational essences are if you're not familiar. And then Mike is my lucky participant here to be the surrogate for you all to see how the way that I run a session, the way I run a consult, how this works. However, we are all impacted by the vibration and the frequencies of the plants and crystals and things that we are exposed to and drawn to. So you will get some benefit just by being here and by observing. But if you want to go deeper dive and more personalized, we can do that. So flower and vibrational essences, flower essences especially, they've been around for centuries. People have been using dewdrops from plants for centuries. However, it was kind of codified about 100 years ago through the box system. You may have seen some of these in your local drugstores. I've carried Rescue Remedy in my purse for the last 20 years because it's so effective on anything from a bee sting or a shock or a trauma. And so it's been one of my go-tos for years, but it's been more recently that I've been on a deep dive with how these work at a very fundamental way with our energy systems in addition to our bodies. And they are powerful. I can't sing their praises enough. So how they work a little bit to describe flowers, if you think about it, flowers are the highest expression of any plant. And as such, we can capture that high expression of what this plant kingdom is collaborating with us with in the essence of water. And did we talk about water in our session, Janet? I don't remember. Water is a whole thing. If you looked at my handout, that's a big deal. Water is programmable and has memory and raises everything to even higher levels. So you are able to capture the frequency of these flowers or crystals or whatever you are working with in water, and then you either take it internally or apply it topically or spray it in your auric field, and it raises your consciousness. It moves out debris and gunk and anywhere that you've got stuck energetics. If you're working with crystal and gem, since those are a denser material, those actually help to build structure in order to hold those changes in place. If you're working with environmental essences, you can capture the frequencies of the environments that you're in. Those works, they have their own thing that they're doing, but they also work to catalyze everything else that you've put them in conjunction with. So it's a really powerful way to work with your energetics and your frequency level. They can be super powerful, but there's like no side effects. I mean, you can give these to babies, you can give them to your animals. There's no downside to using this because it's just purely frequency. And depending on what you are personally working with and what you're needing to move out of your system, you may not even hardly notice anything going. It will feel so natural and so subtle. It will be, a month later, you look back and like, oh my gosh, I am responding differently than I used to this particular issue. Or it could be something more dramatic than that. I've had some people within 3 days are like, oh my gosh, my life has changed. Or sometimes it's like 6 weeks later, you realize that you really are thinking and doing things differently than you used to. So to me, these are just kind of an amazing thing to address almost any issue that we have within our emotional and subtle bodies. And it can impact everything else as well. So that's just a little bit of overview.
Kara,
Shauna,
can I interject
yes,
really quick?
yes,
So,
absolutely.
I just realized I said, can I interject? That's kind of a trigger word on here. um, Now that just gave me the giggles. All right. So I have been using the essences, the ones that you formulated for me for quite some time now. And I love it. I love it. I do feel like it's supporting me energetically, etherically, spiritually, mentally, and even emotionally. Sometimes I will take the bottle and I'll just hold it next to my heart, and I can feel the vibration of the intelligences. I don't know. We did not talk about water, but we need to do a class on water, the intelligence of water. But so mixing the intelligences of these highest frequencies of the plants and the stones and crystals and things, man, it really is that supportive. It reminds me a lot of, I had Joshua Bloom, who's one of my mentors, on last week, talking about the pendants that he created to help with the frequency of our aura and our bodies. And I do feel like what you do, Tara, does the same thing. And it very much is supportive of if we're doing inner work, if we're clearing stuff out. So yeah, that's been my experience. I've loved it. Mine, my intention was for confidence and clarity and rooting and grounding. And I definitely have noticed a huge shift in my life in that area. So thank you.
Awesome. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Corinne says, those on pharmaceutical meds, you need to be careful. Nope, there's no interactions. It's literally water that's been programmed with frequency. The only thing that they do make any suggestion on is if you're taking homeopathics, which work a little bit on a similar dynamic, they don't take them immediately after each other. Just wait a little bit. But that's it. That's the only recommendation I've ever seen to worry about anything. Like I said, you can treat your plants with this, your babies, your animals, yourself. There's no downside. All it can do is clear things and help you feel better. So any other overarching questions before we dive into these actual consult with Mike? Okay, great. So Mike, you want to unmute yourself so we can interact here? Thank you so much for being here with me today. And thank you to all of you that have volunteered last class to be in this position. I appreciate all of the willingness to come on and be vulnerable live in front of everyone else. So Mike and I have only just barely met outside of this this minute, just to make sure that we were both on the same page for today. So I know very little about him or his circumstances. So Mike, if you don't mind just briefly sharing what it is, what's up for you, what would you like to address today?
So the thing that I thought about addressing is I don't know if it's fear but just fear of not valuing myself. I'm a business owner and I constantly don't value my time or my expertise, and it cost me dearly in different avenues, partially financially and stuff like that. And so that's really, I don't understand why I'm so fearful at valuing myself.
Okay. And a global comment also, this is the process that I do personally in my consults. We work with you and whatever your issue is. So, and then you'll be able to see the rest of the process that we go through in order to address it. So Mike, if you were to make an affirmation around this about how you would like this to be, your ideal scenario around valuing yourself, what would that look like to you?
That's kind of funny. Like I get, so I have one that is on the dash of my truck. It says, "I'm a kind and loving human who is very talented. That's not exactly, there's something else in there that I left out, but that's the assumption. That's, the basis of it.
So does that encapsulate what you would really like to be experiencing instead? Or are there any other words you'd like to put in there or something completely different?
Yeah, I guess I would like to put in there, that I deserve to, uh, it's even hard for me to say. Like, I deserve to be financially stable.
Okay, so is the money part the most important part, or is there more to it than just the money?
Well, it's not like I don't want to be a millionaire per se, but I definitely don't want to live paycheck to paycheck or have the stress of, oh, what bill's not going to get paid this month, or that kind of stuff.
Of course, of course. But the underlying issue of fear of not valuing yourself, is this a more global issue, or is it only about the amount that you allow yourself to get paid?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a more global issue. I mean,
Okay, so why don't
value
we?
myself and, with friends and family. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a
Okay,
larger scale.
so if you did value yourself fully in all ways, with your friends, with your family, with your business, in all aspects of your life, what would an affirmation stating what that looks like to you sound like?
Probably pretty simple. I love myself.
It's great. Is loving yourself the same as valuing yourself to you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do at this point, Mike, if you don't mind, you can put your
Mhm.
hands on your heart if you'd like, but take a deep breath or two. And I'm just going to say that back to you. And I'd like you to just feel in your body, is this affirmation that we just said addressing the issue of fear of not valuing yourself completely? So take a deep breath. I love myself.
I love myself.
How does that feel in your body? Does that feel like that is what is needed to no longer fear not valuing yourself?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Tara and Mike,
Yes.
someone posted in the comments, you could say, I love myself and I deserve to be valued.
Ooh,
Should we try that on?
yeah.
Okay. Same thing. Take a breath. You can put your hands on your heart if you'd like. I just want you to feel if this resonates in your body. The objective is to get to an affirmation that just really, it rings your internal bells. Like, that's it. So I love myself and I deserve to be valued.
I love myself and I deserve to be valued. That's definitely a lot more powerful.
Does that feel complete? Does that feel like all the right words? Is there anything we need to shift?
I feel like adding like I love myself and deserve to be valued and abundant. Like
Okay,
somebody just posted. I like that word.
great. Okay, same thing. Let's take a breath. I'm going to read it to you and just make sure that this resonates. See if it feels complete. See if there's any words we need to swap out. Anything. It should be right. Okay. I love myself and I deserve to be valued and abundant.
I love myself and deserve to be valued and have abundance. Yeah.
Did that feel complete and resonate in your system?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go with that. Okay. So I'm going to read it to you one more time, Mike. And as I read it, I want you to feel into, if you were to assign this statement a color or colors, what would those be? Okay. You ready?
Mhm.
I love myself and deserve to be valued and abundant.
I think red, blue, and yellow.
Red, blue, and yellow. Okay. I have a PowerPoint show here that I'm going to customize to you and your colors. It's going to take me a minute. So Janet, if you want to take over for a sec, I'll be back momentarily. You're muted, Janet.
I was talking. All right. So if you guys are noticing, what we're doing is we're setting the intention for the actual session. I guess not just session, but to discern which of the plants or essences or vibrational frequencies need to come forward and show themselves intelligently into the healing for Mike. So what Tara's going to be doing here over the next few minutes is she's going to be adding some of the slides. Mike's going to look at the slides in the PowerPoint presentation, and he's going to pick the ones that resonate the most with him vibrationally. So Mike, you're going to just look at the slides that come up on the screen, and you're going to just take a note, like take a mental note of what you feel in your body when you look at these different colors and plants and essences and the things that show up on the screen. You're going to pay attention to what resonates in your body. What do you notice? What do you feel? Where do you feel it? And then you're going to select the ones that resonate the most. And so there's a lot here. So you're going to have to just kind of be discerning as to the ones that you resonate the most with, and then we'll go from there. Do you need more time, or do
Nope,
you got
nope, perfect.
Okay.
That's it. So do you have your paper and pencil there, Mike?
Yeah.
You ready to go? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll all be able to see the pretty pictures there that come up. So can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Can you see these little numbers along this left side here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're going to pay attention to. We're going to scroll through. I'm going to read your affirmation to you one more time so that we are in that frequency. And we're just going to scroll through. We're not going to talk about it. I just want you to respond to the photos as we go down. I don't want you to think about it much. Just respond in your body. Does like that feel like, ooh, yes, or no. If it's a ooh, yes, just write down the number. We'll go through it again so you don't have to edit yourself at all. Just if it's a ooh, yes, according to this particular affirmation that we've set, please make a note of it. And for everyone else watching, the frequencies are held not only in the plants, but even the idea of the plant or the photo of the plant. So you can get a frequency bath just by participating and going through, and notice for yourself what kinds of ones appeal to you. And it's so fascinating in this process that sometimes something will completely not appeal to you at all for a certain affirmation, but a little bit later when you're doing a different affirmation, that is totally the one that is speaking to you. So they really have a lot to say and are very responsive to you and your own energetic field. So for everybody watching, just pay attention for yourselves what kind of response you are having to these. So Mike, I'm going to reread your affirmation statement. Just keep that vibrationally in mind as we go down the list and just write down the ones that you were responding to. I love myself and deserve to be valued and abundant. Okay, so here we go. And I'm just going to give you a few seconds for each. You can tell me if it's going too fast, but I think I mentioned there will be flowers, there'll be trees, there'll be crystals, and there will be environments. Okay, then we'll move into the blues. Okay, those are your color choices. Would you like to share with me your list of numbers, please?
Yeah. So I've got 1, 3, 5, 9, 13, 15, 17, 19, 24, 26, 27, 31, 33, 36, 42, 50, 52, 53, 56, 57, 60, 64, 65, 67, and 69.
Okay. All right, so I am going to stop screen share for a few minutes and I'm going to narrow it down to those, and then we're going to do one more pass because that's a lot. But now that you've seen them all, you'll have a better
Right.
idea of which ones really are applicable or not. So Janet, I'm going to give it back to you for a minute or two while I fix this up.
Okay. Awesome. I want to ask you, Mike, how did you feel as you were looking, just the visual contact of connecting with the frequencies of these different elements? What were you noticing? I noticed that for me, I was having a visceral biological response to each and every, some of them more than others. I could feel energy moving and clearing in my body as I would take that information in through the eyes. So I want to know, what were you experiencing?
So, a little side note, since neither of you, I don't think, know it, but I went to college for horticulture.
Oh,
So, plants are like my thing. And so, yeah, like I had a kaleidoscope of feelings. Obviously, I'm from Idaho.
yeah.
So, the mountain scenes, like the mountains are my happy place. That's definitely where I rejuvenate my energies.
Mm-hmm.
And then crystals, like I am very connected with crystals. I'm in the process of setting up a business selling crystals.
Wow.
And so, like, I mean, even the crystals just, I don't know, like there was a few of them that just totally stuck out to me. Like
Yeah.
it was interesting. Like just going through those photos, like my mood changed
Yes.
so drastically. So
Yeah. That's the power of just the frequency of just taking the information in visually. Can
right.
you imagine taking the information, this divine intelligence, in through water so that it's absorbed into your cells?
Well, should I add that part too? So my last name is Rivers, and I've been a raft guide all summer long. And so I've definitely, the water is it's another, honestly, like my happiest place is on the river in the mountains.
Wow.
And yeah.
Yeah. That's powerful. I just love this. I think it's amazing for us to ponder and consider the intelligence, not just within the universe, but the intelligence of God that's found in all creation. And that intelligence speaks to us through frequency, and we can take those frequencies in through our eyes and through our bodies, through our ears, by just being out and listening to rushing water and nature. So I just find this modality of healing to be so powerful. All of you know how connecting it is to be out in nature and how it heals and changes and transforms us. So imagine having the support, this vibrational support of these very specific energies that we maybe don't have access to on a daily basis, but we can through the essences of these plants. So back to you, Tara.
Okay, great. So what I have done, let me get back to sharing my screen. What I've done, Mike, is I've gone and deleted the ones that you did not choose. I've retained the ones that you did choose. When we do combinations, typically we don't want them to have so many in there that your system is completely inundated, because then it doesn't even really know what to work on. So we do this every time. We get the initial list and then we go through and do another pass, sometimes a third one, but many times we can get it down with 2. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to reread your affirmation statement. So we're back in those frequencies again. And then I'm just going to quickly again scroll down, and now that you've seen all of it, you've got the whole range. As we go down through each slide, just tell me yes or no. Yes, it's still resonating, or no, maybe not. Okay, so you don't need to write anything else down. We're just going to respond as we go. So again, take a breath. Let's get back in the frequency of your affirmation. I love myself and deserve to be valued and abundant. Okay, so as we scroll down, get my keyboard right. Just tell me yes or no. This was one that you had chosen.
Yes.
It's going to stay here because it's your placeholder, but you can let me know if that's still one that's speaking to you.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. 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 Mm. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. Let's, on that last one, take that one out, and keep that one.
Yep.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a lot. This is on the upper limit of what I would feel comfortable giving to you. However, let's go through them a little more specifically, where we'll look at what they're actually doing and addressing. You may see if any of the other ones no longer speak, but they might all. And many times what happens is as you are intuitively responding to these frequencies is you choose ones that are very similar to each other. They do slightly different things, which is good because you want the whole scope, but a lot of the patterns are the same. So therefore it's not going to completely overwhelm your system.
Right.
So we started with this one, which is red chestnut. And I don't have the description on the splash page here because this is just your splash. So I will have to look that up for you to let you know what the signature of red chestnut is, because I have so many of these essences now. Not all of them I remember straight off from that. But that's what this particular flower is, and we will come back to it. Okay, so this is ruby. It's actually one of my favorites. I work with this one a lot. And for me, it works a lot. For me, it works a lot with my grounding and my ability to ground. It clears everything between my lower chakras and the earth, so that I have this clear communication and ability to ground and connect to the earth. It also works on unresolved survival issues, ambivalence about being present in your physical body, if you have a tendency to kind of leave your body in situations of stress. And it helps promote circulation throughout the aura and the physical body of energetics and actually physical circulation as well. So I love working with this essence, and given where you are of wanting to be feeling this love, abundance, value, being able to ground and be physically present in your body, I think is imperative to be able to embody those things that you are wanting to do with your affirmation. Okay, this one is large. And its keywords are to have confidence. So if you're not feeling confident enough that you are deserving to be valued, this will help support that. This one is Copper Beach. This one comes from, so you will get this PowerPoint. This is now your personalized show. So you'll be able to work with the frequencies of both the photos, and you'll have all of the descriptions of the things that you're working with here. In this, so you'll have the name of what each one is that's going to be included in your combination, and also the maker of this particular essence. This one is by a company called Wild Medicine, and they are out of England, and they're all made on like sacred sites in England. So this one was in Glastonbury. So this one says, when you're feeling isolated, homesick, or lonely, it teaches us that home is within. And again, we're not going to feel valued unless we value ourselves from ourselves. So I think this is perfect in giving you, well, it says it also gives us the strength to change what we need to and the grace to accept the things that we cannot. But this is all coming from that internal place of internal value. Okay, this one is from Australia. And it's for those who feel stuck. It's a catalyst to help make these changes in your lives. So as you are trying to shift from where you are currently feeling and embody the new frequencies that you're bringing in, this will help to ease that movement and get you unstuck as you do that. All right. This one is Western Columbine. I'm making notes as I go so I know what to put in your essence as I make it. All right, so this is when you feel resentful, pressured, and obligated to do things to the point where you don't want to do them. And if you're acting from places out of obligation rather than from your own authenticity and sovereignty, which is again where we don't feel valued. We're doing things because we are supposed to, or we're feeling like people are pressuring us to, rather than this coming from an authentic outpouring of your own sense of worth and desire. It also helps you encourage expressing your feelings, which might be really useful in this venture of you making the shift. It increases your optimism for living and supports building self-confidence and impulses of making change in your life. So I think that one's terrific. Okay, this is another environmental one. It's Chalice Well, which is again in Glastonbury. Made with the water actually from this well. This is a very sacred well on a sacred site. And the affirmation that Alaska includes with this is, I open my life to receive all manifestations of divine support. I draw on the well springs of eternal light so that I may become light. So this brings into this whole combination the underlying support from the divine and increasing your own light quotient as you access that. It's pure grace. Okay, this one is rutilated quartz. So this is useful when you're overwhelmed by the amount of information coming in to you. I don't know what your sensitivity level is or empathic level is. You may feel inundated by information that comes, which can lead you to feel confused, lack of focus, lack of clarity. But it helps to align all of that energetic information coming in, all of the intuition coming in, and all of the inspiration coming in. So you can be guided as you move forward in this transformation that you are making within yourself. So it opens you up for more spiritual assistance and helps you be able to understand it with more clarity. Now this one I think is really useful with a lot of combinations. This is Black-Eyed Susan, and this one facilitates our ability to work with our shadow and the things that we're not seeing. So the things that we have going on that are maybe hidden traumas, hidden things that we aren't even really consciously aware of yet. This will help bring up to the surface so we can process and clear them, so that we now are clear and no longer have these unconscious blocks that we're not aware of. So anything that was traumatic or in the shadow aspects of the personality, this will help you clear out. Okay, this is gorse. And it's indicated for hopelessness, despair, or pessimism. So it's for giving hope. So if this does seem overwhelming, and if you get discouraged about not feeling valued or not feeling that self-love that you should be, that you know that you should have for yourself, if you're feeling discouraged, this will help bring in the hope that this transition can happen and you can go to those places. Now this one is gold, and gold not only does its own thing, it's this yellow golden color, so it's working with your solar plexus chakra, so it's all about power, your self-worth, personal power, and those kinds of things. And the heart meridian, and anchors your self-worth in this, which is very valuable for you addressing and claiming your value. But gold, as it says down here, is also a potentizer for all the other essences. So similarly to the environmental essences that are in here that catalyze everything, gold potentizes everything. So everything you have in here will be even more impactful for you with this inclusion. Now this is celestite, and I was happy that you chose this out of the two similarly looking blue ones because I think this one is more applicable. This one again is in the blue, so it's having to do with your upper chakras, and it has to do with unresolved things, unresolved issues in your past, but it opens you up to align with the divine and the angelic realms. You know, it's celestite. It's opening up to the more celestial kinds of energies that come in. So not only are you getting support from the plants and things to help release your blocks, you are getting support from the minerals, especially to connect you to the divine, which awesome. And I love that you chose these. Okay, this one is Forget Me Not. This one again has connections to the spiritual world and the subtle realms, also soul-based relationships. So when you feel kind of isolation due to either you've lost someone in your close circle, or maybe it's just your ancestral connection, this helps to make sure that those connections are all still there, because we do have the support of our ancestors and our guides and our loved ones who have already transitioned are also in a supportive place for us. And this helps to make sure to know that not only are you having, like from the celestite we just talked about, these divine connections, you're also having to your extended family to support you in your transitions here. Okay, this crystal, it's Larimar. It's lack of nurturing and comfort, not feeling safe or supported, and conflict and disharmony between the inner feminine and inner masculine. So it will help bring in that safety, that support, that nurturing. The emotional body can use and also help balance the feminine and masculine within, so that you are feeling that full balance and full comfort, safety, protection. This one, I love that you chose this one also. It's a volcano. And so this was made during this volcanic eruption here in Alaska. And it facilitates the positive release of unexpressed energy and emotion in a positive way. It's not so that we erupt in ways that are super destructive to ourselves or those around us, but there are positive ways to release all of these things that we have kept inside. The favorable resolution of issues long held in stagnation, and it teaches us that intense cataclysmic events, such as volcanic eruptions, are benevolent instruments of change. So I suspect that you will feel change as you work with these frequencies and take this essence, or even just work with the frequencies of the photos. You will feel things start to shift. And many times when these shifts happen, it feels a little unfamiliar, and sometimes that can feel a little scary. You have quite a bit of supportive essence in here to help you feel protected and supported. But this is to help also remind you that changes can be benevolent. And that is the change that we are aiming for. We're aiming for your affirmation of feeling love for yourself and valued and abundant. So cataclysmic change for benevolence. So even if it feels a little insecure, and even if it feels a little disruptive as things shift, which it may not at all, but if it does, keep coming back to your volcano to remind yourself that change can be benevolent and shifting for the good. Okay, just a few more here. Tourmalated quartz. Okay, so this one is really good with helping just the overall flow of balanced energy. When we have issues in our lives, which we all do, usually we have stuck energetics in places in our body, and this just helps facilitate clearing that out and making sure that energy is flowing freely all through us. So as things come up, like from that black-eyed Susan that we weren't even aware of, we can clear that out, and then this will help restore the flow. This one, labradorite, helps to support our energetic systems. It can be indicated when we are kind of depressive in how we look at things. But for me specifically, I've used it quite a bit when I am feeling low in energy reserves or fatigue from either physical things or emotional things. So it helps attract, gather, and assimilate the energetic nourishment of light into the body. So this will kind of help, because like I said, this is a lot of essences in one particular combination. So you're going to be moving a lot of energy. This will help give you the energetics to be able to support doing that. All right, this is Laird Hot Springs. Created in northern British Columbia. Let's see. So in all natural hot springs, we find an outpouring of the forces of creation, a recreation of the primordial energies of paradise, a powerful reminder of what it was like on Earth before the cumulative actions and energies of human beings began to collect in the planetary aura. So this brings you back to your essence of yourself, your natural native blueprint, who you were before all of the things have happened in your life, or the epigenetics from your ancestry or whatever else. So this brings you back to the archetype of innocence, to your essence core self, which is that place of immanent value and self-love. So awesome. Okay, last two here. This one is borage. I love borage, and this is a terrific one to have in here. It's all about courage and optimism. So some of this, this may bring up stuff for you as you go, and sometimes it's not always easy to look at what comes up, but this will give you the courage to do so. Or it may not bring up anything that's very conscious, but if you are to be living in that value of yourself, you're going to be doing things differently and speaking up for yourself more, which all of these blue ones that you chose are all about your throat chakra. So there's a lot of expression going on here. So this will give you the courage to speak up for yourself, to deal with what comes up, and also to do it with optimism. Ebullient heart forces, it says. So you can do this in a happy, joyful way, because these are changes you want to make and a way that you want to embody and feel. And our last one here, this one's also very beautiful. It's blue lotus. And this is for spiritualizing the heart chakra and building loving relationships with higher beings and energies. So again, you've got a lot more of this connection with and working on your relationship with the divine forces in your life. Angelic, ancestral, God, whatever it is that you are working with. In addition to developing compassion for yourself, this self-love, and for others. So beautiful. These are really beautiful choices, Mike. And I think you will feel very nurtured by, and you'll be able to feel the shifts that will come from putting these into your life.
Can I ask a question to Mike?
Of course.
What was going through you? I noticed that you were having like physical and emotional response as we were going through this last set. So can I just ask what was happening with you?
We could do a whole session on, like, it's just how much each one of those photos resonated. Like, I mean, I have Larimar around my neck right now. It is definitely, I just bought the celestolite the other day. So many of the flowers, like all of, like every single, like, I know there was a lot and it's not typical, but I've also found in my life I'm not a typical person. And each one of those, like, photos truly just resonated, and I, like, it just, I want to say it blows my mind, but it doesn't blow my mind because I'm learning a lot about all this stuff. And it just totally made me reassured that I am a pretty amazing person and that I don't need to worry about what other people think about me because I'm an amazing person, and I need to learn to love myself and not worry about what other people have to say about me.
Thank you for sharing that. What my takeaway on all of this was, isn't it remarkable how these different elements and essences spoke directly to you, at
Oh,
how
yeah.
you brought in the color, your higher self brought in the colors, you attracted the right slides, the right essences, the right descriptions that was very specific to you.
Mm-hmm.
I find that incredibly fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And it works that way every time. I am blown away by how on point this process is with everyone I've worked with. And I'm so pleased that that was the experience that you had as well. But I find that most people are really quite in tune with themselves, and the plant and nature world wants to collaborate with us. It wants to. And so when we are open to that and we're in this collaborative place, wow, the synergy is really kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike, I recommend that you go back and re-watch this segment,
Oh,
this
for
piece
sure.
right here. Someone said that was your affirmation. Whatever you said when I asked, what were you experiencing? Your affirmation was in there. So come back to this and re-watch it a little bit later so that you can really get a little bit even more specific, and you'll be able to watch the slideshow. She'll give you a copy of it, and then your essences, I think, is gonna be very, very pivotal and healing for you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, both you, Janet, and Tara. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you went there. I mean, you were willing and you went there. This is you and the plants.
Right.
And thank you for being willing to go there.
Yeah, and thank you, Tara, for sharing your expertise and your time. Somebody even asked, were you did you gather this information from a specific book, or what resource?
Oh, the resources for all of these, I'm a compulsive acquirer of essences now. So I have a number of ranges that I buy from, and this is just the information off of their websites.
Yeah.
of what these particular essences do,
Awesome.
or the books that come with them or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, some of them I've got a deeper dive in the books that I have from them versus the more synoptic thing on their website.
I love the process that you take people through, and I love how intuitive it is and how their intuition is guiding the session. With that, we are at the top of the hour, so I'm going to leave the rest of the time to you, Tara, to just kind of sum things up and wrap it up.
Okay. Well, again, amazing job, Mike. You just, I honor you so much for being willing to go through this process and to dive deep into yourself and to be so responsive. I will contact you outside of this. We'll get all the final definite, information and address and all that kind of stuff to work on this. But this is the gist of the process that I prefer doing with most people, and doing a consult and working with these frequencies and these plants and these crystals and these environments. There are other ways, there's a lot of different ways that people work with these to do it. And there's other ways that I've done it as well, but this is my preferred one because I think it should be coming from you. I think it should be mostly you. You don't need me to tell you, you know for yourself what you're responding to. You know for yourself which of these is speaking to you, and which plants want and crystals want to, collaborate in your own experience. And I just, for anyone who is interested, I recommend working with nature in whatever way calls to you. It's such a powerful ally and so transformative in whatever we are trying to do in our own healing. And their frequencies are so high. I've been learning and delving more and more into just what it means frequency wise in our bodies. For instance, apparently if we're healthy, we resonate between about 68 and 72 hertz. Whereas if you take a flower essence from an antique rose, roses have the higher frequencies. These are like 350 megahertz frequencies. I mean, they're just incredible. And so even if you're not working with essences, if you're just interacting with plants, you are going to be benefited if you're just interacting with nature. I'm a devotee for sure. And the ways that it connects us to ourselves and connects us to the more divine elements out there. So thank you, Janet, for allowing me to share. And I'm happy to share with anybody who likes this. I'm very passionate about it.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here. This was a great session. Again, go watch the replay. It should be posted later on this afternoon up on Greater Life, Greater Impact on YouTube. And I will share links down below in the description of that video so that you can get in touch with Tara if you would like to have your own personalized healing session. She can give you details on what she charges for that and how you can get more information. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great and blessed rest of your day. This was episode 33 in our Sovereignty series. Go have a beautiful day and spread the love, everybody. Take care. Mwah. Bye.